let's talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs, who have been playing bad but winning until they started playing bad and losing. And now playing bad and winning doesn't seem so fun. And, you guys were talking to me again after the Philly game going, well, they just know how to play tight games. They just know how to play tight games. They're tight games. They know how to play them.
It is a skill.
Oh, yeah. I like that win. Like, I'm not going to go back and renegotiate the merits of that win. I thought they
were bad.
They won a game based on defense, and I think that's a way you can win a hockey game. And now they're not able to score at all. And it's a different conversation.
They have 4 goals in 3 games.
That's not good.
Nope.
No.
You're going to lose all those games. All of them. Woo. Who's having fun? Woo!
So what is it? So last night, you've got a goal by Matthews and Marner in the first 5 minutes. The Leafs come out on fire.
They beat Jake Ottinger 4 times in the first 6 minutes of that game.
Yes.
They had the goal and 3 posts.
So there was a Nyes post. I think there was a Nylander post, wasn't there?
Rielly?
Something like that. Yeah, I think Rielly, actually.
Yeah.
And so, hey, listen, it could have been 4-0, but it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. It very wasn't.
And then when Dallas ties it up, which is about the 10-minute mark, if I don't know, you can look at the box score if you need the exact time. The Leafs just kind of, I don't know, later. It's like, oh, man, I can't get through my day unless I know when Dallas scored first.
That's so Adam with detail.
Well, who cares? But the point is that Joseph Woll is lined up perfectly with the shot. He makes the initial stave. Logan Stankoven bats it, and then bats in the rebound, and it kind of squeaks through Joseph Wool's pads. And I think Jeff O'Neill said it perfectly on the TSN panel, who, by the way, they had a ripping game last night, those 4.
I missed the intermission where they...
they tore into the refs. It was fantastic. Second intermission was great. Because they're allowed to do that. But long story short, the after that, Jeff O'Neill said they kind of played like they were chasing it. And... it seems kind of like that's what happened. That's
what happened in the Carolina game.
So what is it that with that first goal going in? I mean, they gave Joseph Woll, he was up until last night with 3 days of rest, 10-0-0 in his career.
Wow.
So it's his first loss after 3 days of rest. It didn't feel like a bad game from him. It felt like a team that really couldn't get anything going on the offensive side of the puck.
They went right back to it's 2 things. They can't score, which has been a constant. But now they can't defend. And the penalty kill, which we talked about last show, has been so good this year, so unbelievably good, is very human because they're way too soft and way too easy in front of the net. And the stat that came up yesterday, did I delete it off my phone? I hope not. I did, but it's okay. I remember it. The stat that Sportsnet Stats came up with was the Leafs points percentage with players in or out of the lineup. The Leafs have a better points percentage with Matthews out of the lineup than in. Now we know that because we've talked about it. Well, the Leafs actually have a better points percentage without Marner than with him since the beginning of last season. Oh, okay. Well, now you're just picking on Mitch. Well, they actually have a better points percentage, way better points percentage without Rielly in the lineup than with. With Jake McCabe, the Leafs have a better points percentage than they do with any of those other players in the lineup. Matthews, Marner, Rielly. Without him, the Leafs play like a team. If I round up on a round up, they play like a team on pace to have a 68-point season.
Without Jake McCabe.
Without Jake McCabe. They got 69 points the year they finished last in 15-16. So this current Leafs team, since the beginning of last season, if they were to have a 7-game series against the 15-16 Leafs, would lose. If they don't have Jake McCabe in the lineup. He is Jake Muzzin. You killed the man, but not the idea. They have one guy who can kind of do it all back there, and that's it. They like Simone Benoit, bless him. I think we all love him. Bless him. fun guy, fun teammate.
Advanced stats people do
Lays
not like
hits.
Simon Benoit still.
Yeah, because he gets caved. He's not even sort of kind of a Jake McCabe replacement.
No. I don't think that was ever the role, though, right?
No, but it just like when you lose that player, there's no one who could step up in his role. Leafs lose Morgan Rielly. I have confidence OEL could step up in that role. You know what I mean? They just don't have a replacement for that player. So, yeah, they're getting some saves. They can't score. That's a constant, and it's a problem. And they don't have an answer for when one of their defensemen is out of the lineup. Listen, I think when they win, it's easy to make excuses for them. When they lose, they're a team with no offensive depth. They have limited defensive depth, and you hope the goalie makes some saves.
I don't agree with you on the limited defensive depth. I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
I completely do not agree with that. I think that
they're missing one guy and they're shit. So
yes, but that's not the reason. That's not the reason they can't score, Steve, and you know that.
No, it's not the reason they can't score. It's the reason they can't defend.
Okay, but the problem is scoring.
They're bad at both ends of the ice. No, the problem is both.
Okay, but that's not the reason. So, okay, if McCabe's in the lineup and they hit 4 posts in the first period, they still lose 4-1. Maybe it's 2-1, but they still lose.
So
how many games are you going to win scoring a goal?
Okay, I understand what you're saying. So what I'm saying is with Jake McCabe in the lineup, you probably lose that game 2-1. And a loss is a loss is a loss. They could lose the game.
Feels better.
8-0. Yeah, feels better. I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is it's still a problem.
And listen, I think slumps can be accounted for, right? I think name a single team. Like if you're a fan of another team than the Toronto Maple Leafs and your team is good, name a team that has a fan base that is like, wow, when these guys are great, it's Technicolor, it's 8K, it's the crazy. And then when they don't have it, fuck, I don't even know if this team could make the playoffs. Every team, with the exception of the 2023 Boston Bruins, has these stretches, right? Yeah. Every team. The key now is identifying where the issues are. I think, obviously, and we'll talk about the forward group in a second, they need a third-line center. They've needed a third-line center since day one. We know that.
Their issues are the same place they've always been.
No, but I don't agree with that.
They don't have offensive depth.
And they had no goaltending the last couple of years, like unless it was spotty. They got it.
Yeah, so that's
then
good.
They do have defensive depth.
Offensive depth.
Offensive depth, we'll get there.
Yeah.
The defense, I think, is actually great, but I think you've got to look at where these guys are being played. Like here's the conversation I want to have about Morgan Rielly. Okay. Everybody wants to have the Morgan Rielly conversation. Let's have it in this way.
Okay.
My question for Morgan Rielly is, how many defense partners do we need to try with you before we find out that you're the issue?
No, this is
I know that he hasn't played with great guys, but there are plenty of defensemen who are known as number one defensemen on their team who make it work with somebody who's less than ideal.
Quinn Hughes has essentially saved Luke Schen's career. Like, how many millions of dollars did he make that guy? The Canucks move significant assets to get him a partner in Filip Hronek.
Yep. And Filip Hronek's been injured a good chunk of this year.
And he gets injured, and now it's Tyler Myers. Chaos Giraffe. And which is like one of the best nicknames in the league.
Chaos Giraffe. That's great. I thought that was Logan Stanley, but anyway.
I mean, he's
a bad giraffe.
Maybe he's just bad giraffe. I don't know. Mid giraffe. He's found a way to make it work. So listen. The big forwards that make a lot of money at least look like forwards who should make a lot of money. Rielly's not even in the ballpark of living up to being a $7.5 million defenseman.
And $7.5 million ain't what it used to be. Like when he signed it, that was like, whoa, that's a lot of money.
If we look up, we don't have to, but if we were to look up other defensemen around the NHL in that ballpark, okay,
I'd be down.
Who would you rather, this guy or Rielly? This guy. Who would you rather, this guy or Rielly? This guy. Who would you rather, this guy or Rielly? This guy. You'd go down the whole list. He's not even kind of living up to it. Like, we should be able to survive. The Leafs should be able to survive not having Jake McCabe.
Yes. And so here's the question, guys. When Morgan Rielly is worth $7.5 million, when he is playing like the guy that we've known in the past, what is he doing?
He's scoring a shitload.
And he's had 6 points in the last 20 games or something like that?
Yeah. It's
So,
I mean, he wasn't even the best looking offensive defenseman on his pair last night.
yeah, Philip Myers had like 3 good shots, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a couple defensive breakdowns, but generally I thought that was a really good game from him.
There is,
Generally.
and this is the thing. You know, I don't think all of this is Morgan Rielly's fault. We've gone through this before on the positive side with, hey, look at what he's done despite the names. And the resume of names that Morgan Rielly has played with in his Leafs tenure are terrible.
Give him a right-handed defenseman. Here's Cody Ceci. Oh,
Not that one. But we could have told you that before he even got here with Ceci, right? We could have told you that.
Yeah.
The thing with Morgan Rielly that is very clear is that he's loved within the organization. He's
a great guy.
loved within the clubhouse.
I love him.
And he is going to have more rope than most people. If William Nylander, who is also struggling,
Oh my God.
was playing to the level on his contract that Morgan Rielly is to his, William Nylander would be sitting on the bench.
Willie looks so ordinary. It's
But do you see? Do you
really
hear what I'm saying?
confusing.
So
Yeah.
a couple episodes ago, you're willing to give Rielly a pass with him being a new father and him picking it up after 4 Nations. Is that gone?
It's not. I think we have to acknowledge that it's not good.
Dude,
I didn't.
Four
I'm not
Nations-
saying they got to trade him. I'm saying
There's so many games between now and that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't just go like, what is that, 15, 20 games of him being ass?
I
We can't have
I don't know if I was even really willing to give him a pass, Jesse. I was just trying to find a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason to me feels like, well, maybe he's a new dad, and that's a huge adjustment, and I can't even imagine what it's like being a professional athlete and
so
not sleeping.
You can't change that part. So if that's the reason he's struggling and that can't be changed, then you got to figure out a way to work around his struggling.
So this is
Right.
my
Got
point.
to shelter him in some way.
Is he? Do you think he's injured and struggling with something the way Max Domi was injured and start? Like, you're around the team. What do you think?
Morgan Rielly's injured. I have no idea. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think he's injured at all.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Because like I said with Willie, and this kind of goes for Austin and Mitch as well. When Willie struggles, Willie sits on the bench. He misses shifts.
Right.
When Austin struggles, I mean, it's rare. But when he
It's
does,
happened once.
I've never seen Austin benched ever. And
even dating back to his rookie.
but also he's always pretty consistently good even when he's hurt. Mitch has moments where you're like, that wasn't my favorite, but he's not really benchable. Like, he's not that kind of, like, we're talking about superstar benchable. Like, even Alex Ovechkin got benched.
Dude,
you know?
it's by the way, the bloodlust thing that I was talking about last show, like, Mitch stood there near the end of the first period. Stood there because the play broke down because he's not expecting to be hit. Jamie Benn is on the ice. Move your ass. And there you are. You're on it. Now you're on your ass because that is a top of the food chain predator out there.
Okay.
And
but-
these guys don't make them. There was a play yesterday. It was in the neutral zone. I don't remember exactly when it happened. I want to say it was second period. There was a loose puck, and Willie had a chance to fucking level the Dallas Star who was going for it. He didn't get the player. He didn't get the puck. He didn't get nothing. It's a flyby. You don't need to worry about what you need to worry about with Jamie Benn with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, the stars of the Leafs can do things that Jamie Benn just can't do anymore. He's not at that point in his career anymore. I don't know if he was ever quite that. He's more like a Joe Pavelski type. But you just don't expect to get hit by them. But Matthews put Rupe Hintz on his ass, and that was the end of it.
yes.
It
But
was-
I want to
like-
bring it back to Morgan Rielly.
The first 5 minutes of that game feel like a fever dream.
They do.
Sorry.
And I want to bring it back to Morgan Rielly because I understand the organization loves this person. I understand the dressing room loves this person. I understand he's a leader. I understand the city loves him. And I am willing to give leeway on a guy who probably is going through a lot personally. Just having a kid is a lot. And
we're all
it could be
going
anything else.
Dude, like...
But my thing is with Morgan is when he plays this bad, And there have been stretches like this before. There have. Except for that one season where he had 72 points where there really was no bad stretch.
To 20 goals.
It was insane.
2023 playoffs.
It was insane. 2023 playoff. But that entire 2023 season, people were like, this guy stinks. What's going on?
I do remember that. Yeah.
And I think it's time for, Max Pacioretty needs to sit. Well, this guy needs to sit. Does Morgan, can we play him down? Can we play him less? Where's the accountability there? It's not because you're going, I'm going to punish Morgan Rielly. It's because I'm going to challenge him. Challenge this guy. What head coach? Babs, Keefe, did he play under Randy? I don't remember.
I think he did.
But let's say
Horacek.
His best plays has been under Babs, Keefe, and now Berube. What of these guys, who has ever said, Morgan, we need more in a public way? And we're totally cool with it happening to Willie all the time. Willie, who leads the team in scoring.
Yep.
In goals anyway. We're just not going to do that with Morgan. He's untouchable. I'm sorry, but you've signed a long-term deal here. Yeah. It's for a lot of money based on what you bring. And at a certain, even with the cap going up, it's a lot of money based on what you bring. You have got to, at some point, take accountability. Let Tanev and OEL take the big minutes. That has to be the thing now.